Hello, beautiful soul. My name is Casey Rose, and I am a master mindset and accountability coach. And today I am here to talk to you about how to take your self-doubt, your worry, your anxiety, the mindless chatter that goes on up here, along with your self-sabotage, and turn it into self-confidence and self-love, and finally making your glow up happen. Because whatever you want in life, whether it be more money, to get in better physical shape, to finally practice self-love, or find a healthy, fulfilling relationship, or to work the career of your dreams, whatever you want in life, right? It is possible for you. However, there is something holding you back. There's a disconnect from you breaking through and living that dream life, living as your most authentic self. And 9 times out of 10, it's because of your self-sabotage, and it's because you don't see yourself, you don't see that version of you living that life because it's never been a possibility for you, so you don't believe it's possible. But that is what we're gonna bust today, because I promise you, it is a lot easier than you think. For so long, you have been held back by your limiting beliefs. You have been held back by your conditioning and your self-doubt and your self-sabotage. And there's a reason for that. That is because of our subconscious mind. And that is the work that I do. I help you reprogram your subconscious, because your subconscious mind controls your entire outer world. So that's what we're going to get into today. And I promise you, if you take these steps and integrate them into your life, you can make your glow up happen. And it doesn't even have to be a crazy big glow up. It can just be something as small as practicing self-love every day. When you used to wake up and not love who you are and not love your life and judge everything about yourself, it's possible for you instead to wake up and be excited about life and love yourself and be proud of everything that you're doing. And that's my goal. That is what I want for each and every one of you. And I'm speaking on this because I was there. I was somebody who used to wake up feeling so unfulfilled and judge myself and get so caught up in the track of comparison and not feeling good enough and wishing I was living a different life but didn't know how to get there. And that is why I'm here today, because I quit my job. I started my own business. I moved to Hawaii, which had been a dream of mine forever. And now I am finally living my dream. And that's what I want for you guys, all right? So let's get into it. So I first want to talk about why we experience self-doubt and why we so heavily experience self-sabotage. And when I say those words, I mean, with the self-sabotage, I know we've all experienced this. And it comes in many different forms. We all self-sabotage in our own ways. But I just want you to think about a time that you have gone out of your way to try to make a different life for yourself. So whether that's, January 1st, you get back in the gym because that's everybody's New Year's resolution, right? Or you're making a goal to brush your teeth twice a day, or you want to eat cleaner, or you want to practice self-love, whatever that goal is, right? I'm sure you've had something that you've wanted to work towards before in your life. And what happens in the beginning, the first couple days, you feel amazing. You're on top of the world. You believe in yourself. You're feeling empowered because, you got to the gym and you packed the clean meals and you did the meal prep and whatever, right? And you're feeling amazing. But what happens 2 weeks later? When your motivation is gone, the discipline is out the window, you're feeling crappy about yourself, all that self-doubt and all those negative self-talks, they creep back in, right? That is what self-sabotage is. And why we experience this is because at a conscious level, and when I say conscious, this is just what you're aware of, right? At this conscious level, we want something different than what we're living. We know that we want to get in better shape. We know that we want to find a healthy relationship or practice self-love or find a fulfilling career, right? We know that at a conscious level. However, because our subconscious mind, and when I say subconscious, this is everything that's going on underneath the surface. This is your deeply ingrained patterns, your conditions, etc., that you're not aware of. This is built, and I don't want to go too deep here, but your subconscious mind is built from the ages of 0 to 7. You are being conditioned to be the identity that you are now. And why this is so important is because your subconscious mind rules your outer world. So right now, a good way to see what your subconscious is thinking is look at your outer world right now. The money in your bank account, your physical health, the relationships you have in your life, the career, the experiences you have, are they mostly positive and exciting, and do they light you up? Or do you feel held back by your limiting beliefs? Are you attracting unhealthy relationships? Are you in a career that you would rather stab your eyeballs out, right? Take a look at your outer world, and that will show you the basis of your subconscious mind. And that is why this work is so important, because we have to go back to the root. And that is why whenever you've tried to go for a goal, you self-sabotage because, and let's get back into this is what I was explaining before I went off on my tangent. When you try to consciously go for a goal at a conscious level, and we're just going to use the example of going to the gym and getting in better physical shape because I think everybody can relate to this. Or just like wanting to improve your health or wanting to improve your mood, right? Doesn't have to be about physical appearance. That's not what my goal is. But anyway, you consciously want to make a change. However, if that change, that future self, does not fit within this box of an identity that you have formed, it's going to oppose. It's not going to happen because your deeply rooted subconscious belief that's going on below the surface here, this is your subconscious, it doesn't believe it's a possibility for you. And the reason it doesn't believe it's a possibility is because for the last X number of years of your life, you've never had it. You've lived the same experiences and you've had experiences to validate the belief that you're not worthy of being in shape, that you're not worthy of finding a healthy partnership, that you're not worthy of working a fulfilling career, right? All of those past experiences are shaping your subconscious mind and they're forming you, they're attaching you to an identity. And your identity is what is controlling your life. That is your ego. So anytime we try to go after something that doesn't fit inside our ego, that doesn't fit in this box of a life that we've been living for the last X number of years, your ego becomes threatened. It feels unsafe. It doesn't like that you're trying to break out of the shell and move towards something different because different equals unsafe in the ego's mind. And the ego gets a bad reputation because it always gets in our way, but it's really there to protect us. Because what happens when we try to go for our goals is that there's a potential for failure, right? If you set out to go to the gym to get healthier and lose weight or whatever, improve your health, there's a potential that you're going to fail. And when there's that potential, that scares the heck out of the ego. And that's what makes you doubt yourself. That was what keeps you small and pulls you back to this identity that never believes in herself, that doesn't think she's worthy of going after her goals, right? Because you've never seen yourself as the person that can have it all. You've never seen yourself as that girl who lives her dream life, who is her most authentic self, who's confident, who is in great physical shape, who has healthy friendships and amazing relationships and boundaries and X, Y, and Z, right? Because you've been attached to this identity, that is what is holding you back from creating your dream life, okay? So, what we're going to do today, what I'm going to teach you, and what my work is all about, is breaking away from that identity. Because most people and most teachings and most of the books that you read out there just tell you to discipline your way into it and willpower it and just be motivated and start doing those things and it'll happen for you, right? But no, that's not how it works, and I guarantee that you've tried it in the past and it hasn't worked that way. Trust me, I was the queen of starting and stopping. You don't know how many freaking times it was like I would be over the weekend and it'd be like Monday morning, I'm waking up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym, and then I'm gonna work out again at 7 p.m. and then I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do that. And my ego's like, girl, what are you talking about? That's not how it works, okay? We have to start by, first off, making that part of ourselves feel safe. And that's where the self-love comes in. And I think as women, at least for me, and I really do think women as a whole, we weren't taught to give ourselves self-love because we were raised in a society that sets this unrealistic standard of beauty and how a woman should act and look and behave and think and feel, right? And we're constantly comparing ourselves to social media and the Kardashians and what the celebrities are doing and what the perfect life is like, right? As women, we are constantly inundated with this standard of perfection to live up to. And that imprints on us these extreme feelings of unworthiness for not living up to this standard, right? So that is where we start. That is the root of all of this, is giving ourselves that self-love. And I think society as a whole could use a heavy dose of this, but women in general. We need to start practicing self-love. Because when I started this work, and I learned about my ego, I learned about the subconscious mind, and I learned about how my past experiences shaped my current identity, I got mad at myself. And I looked back and I judged myself so hardcore for all of the things I did, for the experiences I went through, for the way I acted in the past. And that gets you nowhere. That further buries you into the identification with self. Okay? And that's not what we're here to do. We are here to love ourselves and to give all the past versions of ourselves a big hug. And remember that we are always doing the best we can with the awareness that we have. And I know it can feel hard to look back at your past and be like, man, I love that girl. I'm so proud of her, right? It can feel hard and we can cringe at past experiences and we can feel embarrassed and we can feel deep shame, right? But if we continue to feel those things, we're further separating ourselves from our dream life because we are just continuing to snowball on this identity that we're not proud of, okay? So it all comes back to self-love. And that's what we're going to start with. So I'm going to give you guys some tips to work on increasing the self-confidence, ditching the self-sabotage, and releasing yourself from all the worry and the mind chatter and the anxiety. Because if you struggle with anxiety, like, hello, I suffered from anxiety for a really long time, and it wasn't until I applied these concepts to my life that I really was able to make a change. And that's what I want for you guys, okay? So I'm going to give you some tips on how to do this. So what we have to do in order to make our glow up happen. And I say glow up because that is the root of all my stuff. I have a program called Glow Up Academy, and that is where we take all of our self-sabotage, our worry, our doubt, all of that limiting beliefs, and we turn it into fuel to make our glow up happen. So that's why I keep saying glow up. But glow up simply means whatever your goals are. It doesn't have to be crazy big goals like moving to Hawaii and quitting your job and doing all that. It really can be practicing self-love. Okay, and that's what I think I really want to get to the core of today is loving yourself. So, how do we break away? How do we make our glow up happen? It all starts by recognizing that we have been attached to an identity. It's understanding the subconscious and the conscious mind and the ego. It's having an awareness of that. You don't need to be a master at it. But what we need to understand is that what goes on up here is not us. Okay? And I know that sounds a little trippy, but bear with me. So when you're thinking the thoughts that you're thinking on a day-to-day basis, especially the thoughts of self-doubt, self-judgment, the mean things that we say to ourselves as women, right? Those thoughts are your identity that you're attached to. But that is your conditioning that has created those thoughts. So your conditioning is basically a culmination of all the limiting beliefs that have been imprinted on you. It's been all of your parents' beliefs, right? Our conditioning comes from the ages of 0 to 7 when we are being raised. So whatever our parents modeled for us, we picked up as a child and now still are very deeply rooted and attached to those beliefs. So for example, if you grew up in a household that didn't have a lot of money, your parents were always fighting over money. You know, money was hard to come by. You couldn't have nice things. Your parents wouldn't let you spend money, right? That imprints these deeply rooted beliefs about money, that money is evil. Money equals mom and dad fighting. Money equals problems. So now in your adult life, there's a 99% chance that you have had struggles with money, that it's either hard to come by or that you associate money with fighting so that you do get money but then you lose it right away because you're scared it's going to cause a fight, right? This goes for everything. Like if your mom was someone who didn't believe in herself and your mom was self-conscious and, you know, she modeled this behavior of not loving herself, right? As a little girl, you watched that and picked that up. And you're not aware of it, right? You're a little sponge at that age. So you're not aware of this going on, but that's what's happening, okay? So that is where your conditioning comes from. And it's so strong. Your brain is just such a sponge at the age of 0 to 7 that it picks that up and creates your identity around it. So that is where our conditioning is coming from. So when I'm saying these limiting beliefs, when I'm saying these past experiences, these conditions, that's what I want you guys to think about. Without going too deep into this, I want you to think about your childhood and think about what were the dominant beliefs back then, right? What did my parents model for me? Was it positive or was it mostly based in judging of yourself? Was it mostly self-doubt? Was it mostly X, Y, and Z, right? So just take a second and think about that. And that can kind of give you an idea of where you're at right now, right? So what we're going to do is we have to start to break away from that identity. So right now, I want you to picture that version of you, who you are right now, sitting right next to you. All of your conditioning, like I wish I had another me to put right here. That is your past, all of your past experiences, all of the beliefs that your parents modeled onto, your best friends, all of your past experiences, right? That is the dominant narrative that's going on up in your head. However, the most important thing for you guys to understand right now is that does not get to dictate who you are and who you want to be. Yes, your past experiences have happened, and that further validates the beliefs that you have, that dominant underlying narrative, but it doesn't get to control your future. You can choose, choose being the key word, at any moment that you would like to break away and instead adopt new beliefs, become a new version of you, form a new identity. That is your power. As a sovereign human being, you came onto this planet and you were conditioned, but you can just as easily, not as easily, but break away from that conditioning, okay? So that is the first step, is recognizing that everything that's going on up here is not you. You are the one inside, you are the soul inside this physical body watching all of these thoughts. And that is the first concept. This is the first step that I'm giving you guys in terms of breaking away and to make your glow up happen, breaking away from this identity and making your glow up happen. It's to practice what is called witness consciousness, okay? And what witness consciousness is in every moment, and once again, this is going to be hard in the beginning. Not hard, it just takes an extreme level of self-awareness. But in every moment, I want you to take a step back and start to just watch what goes on up here. When you're driving in the car, when you're in the shower, when you're making breakfast, taking the kids to school, whatever you're doing, I want you to watch what's happening up here. Because for most of it, it's judging of yourself and not believing in yourself and talking down to yourself and, oh my God, Casey, I can't believe you left the curling iron plugged in. What an idiot. And oh my God, she's wearing that today. Why didn't you wear that today? Like, just watch. Because what most of us do, and this is just a subconscious habit, you're not wrong for doing this, we're humans, is we attach ourselves to those thoughts. We become those thoughts. And that is why we have the identity that we have, is because as soon as a thought comes rolling into our head, I'm going to use this pen as an example. Pretend this is the thought. This is the thought of I left the curling iron on. It's coming into my awareness, and as soon as it comes in, I attach myself to it, and I make it my own, and I make it mean something about me, and I make it mean that I was an idiot for leaving the curling iron on, to further reinforce that belief that I'm an idiot, that I'm not good enough, that I'm X, Y, and Z, right? So what I want you to practice instead is when these thoughts are coming in, can you simply watch them? Can you see that thought floating in and it just comes from your mind, right? But that's not you. This is the mind. Pretend that your brain, because it really is, your brain and your mind are making these things up. Your soul, who you are as a person, isn't making that up. Your mind is. Your mind is the root of the anxiety and the worry and all this chatter that goes on up here. That's not you. So witness consciousness is simply watching that thought come in and not judging it. Just seeing, I left the curling iron on, and letting it float on by. Man, she looks really good today. Why didn't I wear something like this? Instead of adding that, why didn't I wear that? Just, she looks really good today. Letting it float on by. When we practice witness consciousness, we realize that we don't have to be identified with the mind. We don't have to get sucked into all the things that our brain is telling us. We don't have to attach ourselves to these feelings of unworthiness, these limits that have been placed on us, these feelings of unworthiness and like lack of confidence and comparison and anxiety and worry, all of it. It doesn't have to define us. The only reason it does is because when these thoughts float in, we immediately grab them and we assign meaning to them, and that meaning is usually harmful to us. It's usually negative. It usually doesn't feel good. But because we've done it for so long, that's what we're attached to and that's what we feed off of. That's what our subconscious is built on. So the first step into gaining self-confidence, practicing self-love, making your glow up happen is to practice the witness consciousness. Watch those thoughts as they float on by without judgment. Okay? So that's the first step, witness consciousness. The second step is to start to see everything that's happening as a neutral event. And what I mean by this, and I don't want to go too deep, this is the root of all my programs here, is everything that's happening around you, it's neutral. Okay? It doesn't mean anything. The only reason it means something is because when you witness it, right? Remember, we're taking a step back and watching things happen versus immediately attaching to them. When you witness it, your brain automatically assigns meaning to it based on your individualized specific conditioning. And let's go back to what I talked about conditioning. If you were raised in an environment that was totally based out of lack, total self-doubt, lack of unworthiness, lack of confidence, not good feelings, all of that, right? If that's what your subconscious mind is based on, everything that happens in your outer world has to go through that filter of your conditioning. It's like we all have these goggles on, right? We all have goggles on that we see life through a filter. And that filter is our past experiences, right? That's what our subconscious mind does. So when things are happening, we don't see them at face value because we automatically assign meaning to it. We all assign different meaning to it based on our conditioning. So what I want you guys to do, what I'm challenging you to start doing, in addition to practicing the witness consciousness, is to start to see these events as neutral versus automatically functioning out of that subconscious mind, out of that conditioning. And what this does is this helps you to take your power back. This helps you to realize that you have a choice. You as the witness, you as your soul self, get to choose how you want to respond to this situation versus automatically falling back into your conditioning. Those feelings of unworthiness, those feelings of lack, those feelings of limits, right? You get to see that and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to choose how I'm going to respond to that. I am choosing to love myself in this moment. I am choosing to not let it mean something about me. She's wearing that and she looks good, and in the past I might have compared myself to her because I was feeling unworthy, but good for her. She looks amazing and I look amazing too. That's just a random example that it came to mind. But when you have these thoughts come up of unworthiness, of comparison, of anxiety, right? Remember, first watching them without judgment, but then see them as neutral. Stop allowing all of your power to be given away, to be leaked. This is called an energy leak. When you see these events and automatically allow your conditioning to assign meaning to it. It doesn't have to mean anything. So next time something happens, next time you get fired up, next time you get emotional, I want you to ask yourself this right now, and I wish I could write this down for you. Write this down. What am I making this mean about me? Okay? When your anxiety comes in, when your feelings of unworthiness, when X, Y, and Z comes into your awareness or a situation happens in your external environment, I want you to say out loud to yourself, what am I making this mean about me? Okay? And that's going to show you really quickly where your conditioning lies. If you are making everything that's happening mean something about who you are as a person, that means we really got to strengthen that self-love muscle. Okay? So, first step, practice witness consciousness. Second step, see everything as neutral, okay? And the third step and the final step that I'm going to give for you guys today, well, actually there's 4. This is number 3, is to start to break the patterns up. So, we function in our conditioning because we are acting out of our subconscious mind. We're on autopilot. 99% of our day is autopilot, right? When you woke up in the morning, you didn't think about the fact that you were going to step out of the bed with your left foot and then the right foot. You didn't think about picking up your toothbrush and brushing your teeth with your right hand. You didn't think about your drive to work and putting your blinker on and knowing where you're going. Those are all unconscious behaviors. And that is what our identity is built on. So when we want to make our glow up happen, remember I was talking about how we have to shift away from that old identity. The trick here is to start small. So of course, we want to go big when we're building this new identity, right? When we're trying to make our glow up happen, we want to add in all of these new habits and all of these new patterns and be this different person, right? And yes, ultimately that is the goal. But if we try to go 0 to 100 real quick, it doesn't work in our favor because we self-sabotage and we fall right back into this past identity. That's what self-sabotaging is, right? Remember, the ego doesn't feel safe, so we go right back to this old identity. So what we want to do is start to break up the patterns. When you get out of bed, I want you to put a different foot down. When you're in the shower, I want you to shower in a different order than you normally do. I want you to take a different route to work. I want you to put your clothes on in a different order. Start small with these patterns, because the more that you are consciously showing up, and this means having control over all these situations, like consciously choosing versus letting your mind run on autopilot, the more you are in control. And when you're in control, you're constantly being reminded of the power that you have, the choices that you get to make versus automatically functioning in this identity that's rooted in lack and limitation and unworthiness, right? we're breaking away from that identity. Remember this box that our life and our beliefs are built on? We're separating ourselves from that, and we're moving towards this new identity. Okay? Is this making sense, guys? So, first 3 steps: witness consciousness, practice everything as neutral, break the patterns, and then my 4th and the most important step ever in life, not even just in this, is self-love. And I know how hard this can feel for us as women, right? And we're moms, and we're busy, and we're in relationships, and we have obligations, and we always show up for everyone. But when is the last time you showed up for yourself? If you don't practice self-love, if you don't show up for you, you are constantly reinforcing this version that doesn't get to accept the love, that doesn't get to be shown up for, that doesn't get to have the things she wants because she never shows up for herself. So what I want you to start doing in every little moment of the day is showing up for you. And I'm not talking big. I'm not saying you have to go out and buy yourself a diamond bracelet. If you want to, power to you, sis. Please do it. I'm talking about the little things like loving yourself, like looking at yourself in the mirror naked and loving and giving yourself a hug and holding all parts of you and being proud of yourself. Being proud of yourself for taking the time to practice the witness consciousness. Being proud of yourself for not running on your autopilot behaviors and being in your unconscious patterns and beliefs, right? It's showing up for you. And it can really be as small as writing yourself a little love note or saying, I'm so proud of you today. I'm so proud of you for loving yourself. I'm so proud of you for not judging every single thing about you. You're so beautiful. You're strong. You're amazing. You're doing incredible things, right? Show up for you and practice the self-love. I cannot stress this enough because, like I said, if we look at this identity that we're currently rooted in and we judge her, that is further enforcing her unworthiness. We are making her feel like she doesn't deserve her glow up when we do that. So yes, maybe it is cringeworthy to look back at your past experiences and to judge your past selves because you don't like how you operated or you can't believe you let yourself get to this level, right? It can feel like that. But what we need to do to make her feel safe is give her a big freaking hug and love her. The safer she feels, the more loved she feels, the easier it's going to be to transition into this identity that we've always wanted to be. Okay? So it's not always about doing more. Like, yes, we eventually have to be the person, right? That's what I teach in the second half of my programs. It's showing up as the version of you that already is living her dream life, that version of you that is confident, that version of you who is in the healthiest shape of their life, who has the money that they want, X, Y, and Z. We do have to be that person. But the first step in getting there is to just slowly break away from the identity that doesn't believe in themselves, that doesn't love themselves, that is always self-sabotaging, right? That's the starting point, is loving yourself. So that's the most important tip. Woo! Let's take a deep breath. Let's all close our eyes. Deep breath in. Let it out. How are we feeling? I know that is a lot of information. I know it can sometimes feel overwhelming, but I promise you it's a lot more simple than your brain wants to make it, right? You're watching this training and immediately picking up all of what you're feeling because of your conditioning, right? Your conditioning is making you feel this way, but I promise you, this work is available to you at all times, and it starts as simple as practicing that witness consciousness like we just talked about. When you're done with this, whatever you're doing after you watch this training, I really am challenging you to start to pay attention to your thoughts. When you're feeling that anxiety, when you're worried all the time, can you simply watch that thought without judgment versus immediately attaching to it, versus immediately making it mean something about you, versus immediately reinforcing your identity that's rooted in unworthiness and lack and that you don't deserve things? Can you simply start to watch? The more that you can watch these things, the easier it is to break away and become whatever you want to be, okay? So I see you. I have been there. I promise you, I understand what it feels like to feel hopeless, to not feel like your glow up is possible. But guys, it all starts here. It all starts with the self-love. It all starts in recognizing that this anxiety is not you. You are so much more than your limitations. You are so much more than your past experiences. You deserve more than anything you've gotten in your past lives, right? You get to choose from here on out. After you watch this training, you are in control. And the more you validate this belief of being in control, the more that you take this on and make it part of you, the more you show up and take a step back and choose in every single moment, this is who I'm being. I am in control. I do get to choose my thoughts. I may have this anxiety. I may have these thoughts flowing through my mind, but they don't define me, right? It's choosing in every single moment, remembering your power and taking it back. That is what's going to get you to where you want to be, okay? Woo! I'm getting all fired up here. So if this is resonating, if this feels like something you are ready to dive headfirst into, I am here for you. I offer an array of services. I do one-on-one coaching. So this is really if you're ready to make this intense commitment and have somebody holding you accountable, because when we work out one-on-one together, I am making sure you are there getting to your glow up. I am there holding your hand. I am blasting you with self-love. I am forcing you to show up for yourself every single minute of every single day. And that is what I do. My one-on-one is a 12-week long program. So that's a 3-month commitment to you making your glow up happen, okay? And if the one-on-one isn't aligning with you right now, I also have my signature program called Glow Up Academy. This is an 8-week long program helping you ditch the self-doubt, helping you step away from those limiting beliefs that are so deeply rooted, and finally making your glow up happen. Because like I said, whatever you want, more money, a healthy relationship, a fulfilling career, a physical body that you've always dreamed of, more self-love, more confidence, less anxiety, whatever you want, it's possible. The only reason you don't believe it's possible is because of your conditioning and because of your identity that you're so heavily attached to, like we just talked about, right? And that is what that program is for. Okay, so if you guys are looking for more information, please reach out. Once again, my name is Casey Rose. You can find me at CaseyRoseCoaching.com. My Instagram is also Casey Rose Coaching. I am here for you even if you just want to talk. I offer free discovery sessions. I am always here to support because like I said, guys, I was there. I was so stuck in this feeling of unworthiness. I didn't love who I was. I didn't know where I wanted to go with my life. And this concept, these teachings, making my own glow up happen, filled me with this passion to help other people because I promise you it's available for you. And I'm just going to keep ranting if I keep going. So anyway, that is what I have for you. Once again, please feel free to reach out. I am always here for you no matter what. And I believe in you, okay? I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Mwah.